100 Mystery and Crime Novels You Should Read. Hello and welcome back to Deep Dives with SmartBookWorms. I'm Martina, your virtual book guru host for today's show, unmasking the thrill of mystery and crime novels. Welcome to 100 Mystery and Crime Novels You Should Have Read, a curated collection that celebrates the gripping, suspenseful, and ever-intriguing world of mystery and crime fiction. Whether it's a gritty noir tale, a cozy whodunit, or a psychological thriller that keeps you guessing until the final page, this genre offers something for every curious reader. In this episode, the 6 book gurus of SmartBookWorms, Amanda, Claire, Kris Stopher, Megan, Nathan, and myself, share their top selections, spanning contemporary gems and a few timeless classics that have been republished in recent years. The majority of these works hail from the 21st century, reflecting the evolving landscape of the genre while celebrating its rich traditions. Featuring acclaimed authors such as Kathy Reichs, Val McDermid, and Stephen King, alongside talented debut writers like Sarah Davis and Jenny Rognaby, this collection offers a dynamic mix of established voices and fresh perspectives. Each section reflects the unique preferences of our book gurus, ensuring a diverse and exciting exploration of mystery and crime fiction. From the shadowy streets of hard-boiled detectives to the cunning plots of amateur sleuths, these books delve into the human condition, unravel puzzles, and showcase the extraordinary range of crime fiction. Whether you're a seasoned mystery lover or new to the genre, this list will introduce you to unforgettable stories that entertain, provoke thought, and perhaps even keep you awake at night. Get ready to uncover the twists, turns, and truths within these 100 must-read books. Let the investigation begin.
A Conspiracy of Bones by Kathy Reichs. Reichs continues to provide top-notch forensics, along with her highly skilled writing style, making each story in this series both a learning experience and a terrific thriller. A Strange Habit of Mind by Andrew Klavan. A Strange Habit of Mind is a great, hard-boiled style novel that provides readers with an extremely satisfying look at modern-day San Francisco through the eyes of a protagonist who is quite different from most you encounter in the mystery genre. Any Means Necessary by Jenny Rognaby. Rognaby gives several eye-opening lessons on how to be a successful criminal or, at the very least, reduce one's risk of failure. It's all extremely entertaining, with the criminal lessons actually presenting some advice transferable to the legitimate world as well. Dangerous Ends by Alex Segura. Segura knows his territory, and the combination of the knowing and troubled detective with the seething backdrop of contemporary Miami makes this a hard series to resist, and Dangerous Ends a book you'll want to read immediately. Dr. Death by Lena Carbaball. I found Dr. Death to be a one-sit read and made me a confirmed, and impatient, fan of what I hope will be a long-running series. Hyde by Daniel Levine. Levine does a brilliant job of presenting Hyde's case. Until Hyde, he had been forever misunderstood, and now the author lets him finally explain how he came to be and what made him tick. Killer, Come Back to Me by Ray Bradbury. Killer, Come Back to Me features some of Bradbury's oldest writing and some of his best. I can't give you a better recommendation than that for putting this collection on your must-read list right now. Mr. Memory by Marcus Sedgwick. Sedgwick shows he can pen a masterful historical thriller, one that is more than a little titillating, too. Only to Sleep by Lawrence Osborne. Only to Sleep deserves a place next to your Chandler volumes, and, like those, should be read again and again on a regular basis. Riddle of the Third Mile by Colin Dexter. A Labyrinth of Deceit. Colin Dexter's The Riddle of the Third Mile. The Cocktail Waitress by James M. Cain. The publication of The Cocktail Waitress is the most important literary event of 2012. This book marks the greatest achievement of hard case crime in its short existence. The Dying Hours by Mark Billingham. The Dying Hours may be my favorite Thorne book to date. Billingham lets the reader and Thorne get separate pieces of the same puzzle independently and work toward each other, even as the killer gladly surrenders to a thirst for revenge that will never be quenched. The Restless Dead by Simon Beckett. The investigation involves a complex web of suspects, including a wealthy family, a missing woman, and a potentially self-inflicted gunshot wound. The Scapegoat by Sarah Davis. The Scapegoat is not a long novel, but it is a deep and disturbing one. The book's substance and its eccentric protagonist put me in the mind of a collaborative effort between Edgar Allan Poe and Doris Lessing. They Thought I Was Dead by Peter James. The narrative follows Sandy Grace, whose gambling addiction leads her into debt with a dangerous triad boss. Simultaneously, she navigates a troubled marriage and a complex relationship with a new lover. What You Break by Reed Farrell Coleman. The plotting in both storylines is wonderful, but it is the characterization of Gus Murphy, paired with Coleman's rough-hewn but nonetheless exquisite prose, that carries the day. When the Music's Over by Peter Robinson. When the Music's Over succeeds as the solid police procedural that we have come to expect from Robinson, and that he will continue to deliver in the future. Before I hand you over to Claire, don't forget that full comprehensive reviews are available from our free 100 mystery and crime novels you should have read. See the link in the description below to grab your copy today.
A Conspiracy of Faith by Jussi Adler-Olsen. A Conspiracy of Faith is great reading, exhausting in all of the best ways, double-barrel loaded with a puzzling mystery on one side and an edge of your seat, ticking clock thread on the other. A Cruel Deception by Charles Todd. Even though Todd may have been done with World War I, World War I was not done with them. A Cruel Deception shows that there are still plenty of stories left for Bess Crawford, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. All the Wrong Places by Joy Fielding. Things do not tie up easily, and there is much for the reader to ponder at the finale of All the Wrong Places. Alter Ego by Alex Segura. The surreal mix of the fictional and actual pop and comic book culture will have fans of both giggling with excitement as the pages turn. Alex Segura respects the world of comic books and their creators, and this novel is a fine tribute to that legacy. Charlesgate Confidential by Scott Von Doviak. Von Doviak captures perfectly the dialogue, mood, and mores of each of the eras that comprise his tale. Even the Dead by Benjamin Black. The characters, the dialogue, the story, and, of course, the writing all come together to create a tale that seems all too short in the telling, but is ultimately, finally, just right. False Negative by Joseph Koenig. False Negative is a triumphant comeback for Joseph Koenig and another example of why Hardcase Crime is such an invaluable publishing house for mystery fans. Let us look forward to his next book, though hopefully we will not have to wait so long. Family Feud by Daniel Kowalski. Daniel Kowalski's Family Feud is a gripping thriller that plunges readers into the heart of a seemingly idyllic family's nightmare. The story begins with the jarring abduction of Kelly McCarthy, a seemingly ordinary housewife. The narrative unfolds through multiple perspectives, weaving together suspense, family drama, and unexpected twists. Killing Town by Mickey Spillane. Killing Town is strongly recommended as Exhibit A for how the job of writing the hard-boiled detective novel is fittingly and properly done. Lady in the Lake by Laura Lippman. There are some chapters in which a character or real-life figure is merely referred to. Then we find that person narrating the next chapter. Brilliant stuff. Moriarty by Anthony Horowitz. In the nimble hands of Anthony Horowitz, this mystery moves along at frightening speed and is a worthy entry in the continuing saga involving characters created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Night Watch by Terry Pratchett. The narrative follows Vimes as he confronts various challenges, including scent bombs used by criminals, the death of a watchman, and a time-traveling adventure involving wizards. No Man's Nightingale by Ruth Rendell. Ruth Rendell outdoes herself in No Man's Nightingale, her 24th Inspector Wexford novel. In this tangled and labyrinthine book, she tackles social problems as well as solves the murder of a prominent woman in the community. Shills Can't Cash Chips by Earl Stanley Gardner. Shills Can't Cash Chips is a sterling example of how the job of writing private eye fiction is properly performed by a master of the genre. The Cellar by Minette Walters. The Cellar is a powerful work. It is a short but multi-layered novel packed full to the brim of its pages with quiet horror and realism. The Man Who Came Uptown by George Pelecanos. The Man Who Came Uptown contains some of George Pelecanos' best writing to date in any media. You Should Have Known by Jean-Hanf Korelitz. Like Grace's well-meaning advice book, You Should Have Known will prompt plenty of self-reflection among readers, even as it keeps them turning the pages. Before I hand you over to Kris Stopher, don't forget that full comprehensive reviews are available from our free 100 mystery and crime novels you should have read. See the link in the description below to grab your copy today.
A Better Man by Louise Penny. Louise Penny's literary mysteries reach beyond the scope of the standard page-turning crime novel. They are character-driven works, embracing the foibles and eccentricities of the individuals through her complex plotting. A Certain Justice by P.D. James. A Certain Justice by P.D. James is a courtroom drama centered on barrister Venetia Aldridge's defense of Gary Ashe, accused of murdering his aunt. All Day and a Night by Alifair Burke. The tight writing, perfect pacing, and complex, but well-presented plotting make it compelling reading from beginning to end. And you'll leave hungry for the next one. City of Echoes by Robert Ellis. City of Echoes is full of surprises. You may guess some of them, but not all. Ellis' trademark plotting is on full display here. Think of a cube of C4 detonated in a closet, and you'll be close to what he does with his numerous twists and turns. Curious Toys by Elizabeth Hand. Hand's characters are fascinating, and the mystery at the novel's core is both compelling and creepy, especially when she presents some of the murders from the killer's point of view. Fallout by Sarah Petsky. With keen understanding of story, motivation, human nature, and Petsky's fundamental character development and intelligence, both author and protagonist continue to intrigue readers as they explore the ugly sides of humanity and bring justice into balance. First Impressions by Charlie Lovett. First Impressions takes a page from the Jane Austen playbook and runs with it in 2 centuries, no less. Lovett's combination of mystery, intrigue, love and books makes for a unique and compelling narrative that every book lover will appreciate. 5 Decembers by James Kestrel. 2021 was a memorable reading year, and I can't think of a better way to close it out than with this unique mystery, which will engage you from start to finish. Girl Waits with Gun by Amy Stewart. With short chapters, compelling characters, and a real understanding of the world they inhabit, Girl Waits with Gun fits the very definition of a page-turner, and one that will leave readers with plenty to mull over, to boot. How the Dead Speak by Val McDermid. There quite simply isn't a good place to stop reading the book until its satisfying conclusion, which pulls off the neat trick of resolving everything on a potential upnote while leaving readers waiting impatiently for the next installment. Lucky by Henry Chang. Chang's staccato prose keeps things moving, as does Jack's personality, which is relentless when applied to whatever he is doing at the moment. Quarry's Choice by Max Allan Collins. Quarry's Choice is a fast-moving, hard-boiled pulp classic that is fun, sexy, and action-packed. The story will keep you engaged and turning the pages, illustrating once again why hard case crime is an essential publisher in the mystery field. Red Rabbit by Alex Grecian. Sadie Grace is wanted for witchcraft, dead or alive. And every hired gun in Kansas is out to collect the bounty on her head, including bona fide witch hunter Old Tom and his mysterious mute ward Rabbit. Sad Cypress by Agatha Christie. Sad Cypress is a Hercule Poirot mystery that revolves around the death of Mary Gerard and the subsequent trial of Eleanor Carlyle for her murder. The story begins with Eleanor standing trial, accused of poisoning Mary, and the narrative unfolds to reveal the events leading up to the murder, the investigation, and the eventual unmasking of the true killer. The Bangkok Asset by John Burdett. The balance of the novel is chilling and prophetic. The Bangkok asset is worth your time, but please note that this is not your daddy's, or even your older siblings', police procedural. Z City in the City by China Mieville. Nothing is still like the dead are still. The wind moves their hair as it moved hers, and they don't respond at all. The Will to Kill by Mickey Spillane. Collins has done a masterful job of sticking to the old-school hard-boiled form and treating modern readers to this mid-20th century style of American mystery writing. Before I hand you over to Martina, don't forget that full comprehensive reviews are available from our free 100 mystery and crime novels you should have read. See the link in the description below to grab your copy today.
A Cold Trail by Robert Dugoni. Dugoni can truly do it all, and A Cold Trail is him at the height of his talents. I have a renewed excitement for the series, and I cannot wait to see where it goes next. A Very Inconvenient Scandal by Jacqueline Michard. Michard's many fans will flock to A Very Inconvenient Scandal for its intricate family dynamics and memorable protagonist. All I Did Was Shoot My Man by Walter Mosley. All I Did Was Shoot My Man is one of the best books of 2012, and you can't help but root for Leonid McGill. We have much to look forward to with this series. Kudos to Walter Mosley. Dead Famous by Ben Elton. The story revolves around a fictional reality TV show called House Arrest, where 10 strangers are confined to a house, their every move filmed by 30 cameras and 40 microphones and broadcast to the public. Death Comes to Pemberley by P.D. James. Certainly James's novel is a credible and delightful homage to Austen's classic, but it is also, not surprisingly, a compelling whodunit in its own right. Hercule Poirot's Silent Night by Sophie Hannah. Hercule Poirot's Silent Night is unwavering in its brilliance from start to finish, and Sophie Hannah proves once again why she is the only author capable of filling Agatha Christie's enormous shoes. Hit Me by Lawrence Block. The stories in Hit Me hold together perfectly, and the conversations Keller has with Dot are a delight to read. But then you discover that Block has not just written an entertaining book, but also has managed to say something very serious about the age in which we live. Hit Me is true noir for our times. Do not miss this great read. Marina by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Eerie or not, Marina is also a compelling introduction to the sights and sounds, the history and lore of Barcelona, which rightly plays a starring role in this absorbing tale. Onion Street by Reed Farrell Coleman. While presenting an interesting and complex mystery, it is at heart a character study of Prager. At the same time, it provides a sharp and clearly defined literary snapshot of a tumultuous era, the mid-20th century, which, some 50 years later, remains a fertile ground for study and exploration. Paperback Jack by Lauren D. Esliman. Lauren D. Esliman's distinctive writing style includes generally short sentences, paragraphs, and chapters, which keeps the narrative flowing. He also sprinkles in plenty of humor, including one-liners, puns, and even a bit of what could be considered slapstick. So Nude, So Dead by Ed McBain. A terrific noir novel, showing a great writer at the start of his career. Anybody who loves the 87th Precinct series will savor this book. The Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler. Marlowe's investigation unravels a complex web of blackmail, murder, and illicit activities, revealing a story of deception and corruption within the elite circles of Hollywood. The Impossible Dead by Ian Rankin. The Impossible Dead is impossible to put down, and Rankin has created another complicated and endearing character. The Infatuations by Javier Marias. A brilliant work that is as much a philosophical treatise on fate and the vagaries of desire as it is a thriller about a murder. Marias's great achievement here is to make the philosophical insights into life's biggest questions as gripping as the murder mystery. The Knife Slipped by Earl Stanley Gardner. The prose invokes a subtle irony of a bygone, arguably better age. It's a treat and a treasure that's not to be missed. The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman. Filled to the brim with entertaining, well-drawn characters, The Man Who Died Twice is a clever mystery and a joyful page-turner from start to finish. The Wrong Quarry by Max Allan Collins. The Quarry novels are great pulp fun with plenty of twists to keep you turning the pages. Despite the inevitable violence connected to his work, Quarry always manages to find willing sexual partners, and some of the sex scenes here are almost psychedelic in their originality. Before I hand you over to Megan, don't forget that full comprehensive reviews are available from our free 100 mystery and crime novels you should have read. See the link in the description below to grab your copy today.
1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. Murakami's prose is both so cool and so confident and convincing that readers are likely to find themselves settling into it and its accompanying worldview and world-building without even thinking about the emotional and ethical implications until later. Anatomy of Murder by Imogen Robertson. Imogen Robertson has a knack for setting the mood in Old England and a feel for the language of the street and the language of lords and ladies. Blind Vigil by Matt Coyle. Raymond Chandler reincarnate Matt Coyle has set the private investigator bar at skyscraper height. Chokehold by Krista Faust. Chokehold is hard-boiled noir fiction at its best. Death at the Sign of the Rook by Kate Atkinson. Atkinson appears to have had a great deal of fun concocting what is, on one level, a delightful homage to Golden Age mystery novels while still being a very contemporary story, both in subject and in style. Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency by Douglas Adams. Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency by Douglas Adams is a wildly inventive and comedic mystery that blends elements of science fiction, fantasy, and detective fiction. Fields Where They Lay by Timothy Hallinan. Hallinan obviously did yeoman's work in researching his subject matter. He somehow makes both the history and the inner workings of the ubiquitous shopping mall interesting and, at some points, fascinating. Final Resting Place by Jonathan F. Putnam. These novels are historical fiction at their finest, calling to mind Caleb Carr's The Alienist and the works of Stephanie Pintoff and Lindsay Fay. Final Resting Place may be the most personal and serious installment of the series thus far. Heaven's a Lie by Wallace Strobe. The plot is an interesting one, but Strobe's primary strength has always been found in his characters, who march through his books and mark themselves in the reader's memory with their passing. Leona, The Die is Cast by Jenny Rognaby. The literary equivalent of a 2x4 across the forebrain in a dark room. Rognaby is an amazing talent, and Leona is a character who breaks all the rules. Lightning Strike by William Kent Kruger. One of Kruger's best and strongest works to date. Lightning Strike has a multifaceted mystery at its core, but is essentially a vibrant coming-of-age novel. Not Safe After Dark by Peter Robinson. If you are unfamiliar with Robinson's work, you couldn't ask for a better introduction. If you know his novels, his shorter work will show you a different side to him, and you will treasure it just as much as the Banks series. Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. Setterfield combines folklore, fairy tales, and her own peculiar brand of mystery to create something entirely new. A book that defies labels while still possessing all of the elements that immediately invite readers in and make them feel at home. Red Mist by Patricia Cornwell. Fans of Patricia Cornwell will find that, like her character, she has been evolving as a writer, and the proof can be found on every page of Red Mist. The Blood Road by Stuart McBride. Stuart McBride does not pull punches and knows just when the right time is for an interesting nickname or slight bit of levity to punch through the dark subject matter. His writing reminds me of a Scottish version of George Pelecanos or Dennis Lehane. The Old Turk's Load by Gregory Gibson. At an age when most individuals would be not merely contemplating but actively engaged in retirement, Gibson has published an instantly memorable debut, a complex, occasionally darkly comic novel that exceeds its own promise on all levels. Before I hand you over to Nathan, don't forget that full in-depth reviews are available from our free 100 mystery and crime novels you should have read. See the link in the description below to grab your copy today.
A Banquet of Consequences by Elizabeth George. If you're game for a long read, and George's fans usually are, you will find that this latest effort by the prize-winning Mysterian, I made up the word, but it seems apt, is so cleverly structured that by the end we've come full circle, returning to the story's very beginning. A Murder of Quality by John le Carre. A Murder of Quality is a British spy novel by John le Carre. The narrative unfolds through multiple perspectives, primarily focusing on the investigation into the murder of Stella Road at a prestigious English boarding school, Caen. A Question of Belief by Donna Leon. If you are not reading Donna Leon's novels with Venice Police Commissario Guido Brunetti, then you are missing out. Blood on the Mink by Robert Silverberg. Blood on the Mink is a timeless good read, as enjoyable now as it was back then. And it's yet further proof of the great job Charles Ardai and Hard Case Crime does in bringing back to life a great literary tradition so long lost. Stories like this deserve to be read decades after they were written. They are a valuable part of our literary heritage. Bloody Genius by John Sandford. Bloody Genius is a well-concocted mix of memorable characterization and sharp, twisted plotting. It is also filled to the brim with unforgettable dialogue. Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith. Career of Evil starts with a bang, or rather a nasty package, and rushes forward with loads of action and tension at every turn. Cut Me In by Ed McBain. A fine example of pulp mystery writing. Cut Me In is a required addition to the library of any Ed McBain fan. Once again, Hard Case Crime has shown why they do essential work. Frog Music by Emma Donoghue. Donohue's prose positively sings here, and marks her triumphant return following her 2010 bestseller, Room.
Joyland by Stephen King. A masterpiece of pulp fiction storytelling, showing King at the height of his powers as a storyteller. What King has done is transcend genres as only our greatest writers can, and tell an incredible human story. Little Deaths by Emma Flint. Part mystery, part courtroom thriller, Little Deaths is far longer and deeper than the breadth of its pages. Book discussion clubs should take special note of this one. More Better Deals by Joe R. Lansdale. Put More Better Deals at the top of your must-read pile. You won't be sorry if you do and will hate yourself if you don't. Ordinary Grace by William Kent Kruger. Ordinary Grace is one of those very rare books in which one regrets reaching its end, knowing that the experience of having read it for the first time will never be repeated. Kruger, who is incapable of writing badly, arguably has given us his masterpiece. Peculiar London by Christopher Fowler. Peculiar London is a book to be relished and enjoyed not only by fans of this quirky crime series, but by any reader who appreciates the real history and backstory legends that drive some of the great crime and mystery fiction that utilizes London as a central character. That's How I Roll by Andrew Vachss. Esau Till is a great character study of a man with a mission despite overwhelming odds. His survival instincts and matter-of-fact philosophies promise to remain unrivaled for quite some time. He will be remembered long after they put that needle in his arm. Andrew Vachss's latest is simply a wonderful read. The Postscript Murders by Ellie Griffiths. The Postscript Murders is Ellie Griffiths's love letter to mystery novels, the authors who write them, and the people or places that inspire them. It is great to see the literary process from this angle. As an acclaimed mystery writer, there is no better tour guide through it than Griffiths.
The Valley of Fear by Arthur Conan Doyle. When we think of hard-boiled, noir crime fiction, the mean streets of urban America of the 20th century come to mind. We do not imagine mutton chop whiskers, capes, or handsome carriages. The latter were part of Sherlock Holmes's Victorian England. Don't forget that full comprehensive reviews are available from our free 100 mystery and crime novels you should have read. See the link in the description below to grab your copy today.
And there you have it. an incredible selection of books by iconic authors you love to read. Have you read any? If so, drop a comment below and let us know what you thought. And if you haven't, do they sound like a must-read for you? If you enjoyed today's deep dive, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more book deep dives, and share this video with your fellow book lovers. Don't forget that full in-depth reviews are available from our free 100 mystery and crime novels you should have read. See the link in the description below to grab your copy today. And until next time on Deep Dive with Smart Bookworms, keep reading, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next one.